Today I have something very special for you, and I'm taking you with me to a painter's trip. Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I'm not in my studio, and that means that we are doing something very special today. As you can see, I'm on a boat, on a ferry to be exact, because my husband and I are taking a little vacation and are doing a little UK trip. I'm not going to reveal a lot about the details as for now. I'm rather show you on the go. I think that would be a bit more suspenseful. As you already know, we've been to Scotland so many times now that we thought doing something a little different this year and explore some places in the UK that we haven't seen. So this will be very exciting for me, a lot of firsts. And the purpose behind this, of course, beyond taking a vacation, is also to find some exciting places in the UK that will be very fitting to paint. And this is what this new vlog is going to be about. I'm going to take you with me to the different places that I'm going to paint, and all places that I think will be good inspiration for later work to come. We've departed very early this morning. We've started at 3:30 actually to arrive at Calais at about, let me think, 7ish if I remember correctly, because we're obviously traveling with our dog, and you have to arrive a little early to check in the pet. Now we've boarded and I'm already having a little coffee to wake up because it really was a very short night. We're going to London today, and I'm going to show you different places that we're going to visit and that are going to be purposeful for my later artwork, I guess. We are having really great weather. It's sunny and not too hot at the same time. It's a little windy. What else can you wish for? Hello, I'm back. We are here at the Tate Britain today, and I thought that it is important not only to show the time lapses and the moments when I create my pieces, but also all the moments that are important to make it happen, all those moments of inspiration actually that help me to find my style, find things that I like in paintings that other artists made, other artists that influence me. And I'm not saying that I try to emulate anything, but it is obvious that artwork that really moves you, artwork that is important to you, artwork that touches you, touches your heart, speaks to you particularly, leaves a trace in the way that you yourself do your art. So I'm hoping I will be able to film a few sequences inside so I can show you what artworks I was particularly looking forward to seeing with my own eyes in real life and not just discovering through artist albums and things like that. Come with me. Okay, so I have to speak less loud in order to not disturb the others, but I just wanted to tell you that this is probably my favorite room in the whole Tate Britain, and I wanted to focus on some of the paintings that I find myself particularly interesting and inspiring. Let's go. Here we have one of Lawrence Alma-Tadema's paintings, which goes by a foregone conclusion. What I find very interesting on this one is the use of shadow and light, because obviously we are guided in our way of looking to the painting by the two characters on the right who are looking at the man coming up the stairs, and we are immediately drawn to the object that he holds in his hand, a gold ring. And although it is such a tiny part of the painting, if you look at it on the whole scale of the thing, right, we are immediately drawn to it. And it's not only because of the construction, obviously, of the painting that our gaze is guided throughout, but also through the use of the shadow. Look how much the ring catches the light and how it has a huge highlight on it, whereas such great parts of the figure are still in shadow. I find that genius, both the use of the composition, texture and highlights to mark such a tiny object and make it so impactful on the scale of this painting. Then there's of course Burne-Jones, one of my absolute favorite painters in the whole world. It's a bit difficult to film this one because it is quite big, so I'm just going to approach a little bit in order to show you the details that I myself find most fascinating and inspiring. Okay, we have to come a little bit closer, even more maybe. I hope that you are able to see it, but there is a very particular way of using texture in order to make it all work. So here Burne-Jones, in my interpretation, used quite a lot of medium in order for the paint to become a bit streaky like this. Do you see in the stairs? Then we have a juxtaposition of how silky and evenly the paint is applied in translucent layers to the skin. And then again, when we look at the texture in the robes, it's incredible. Now we once again have a lot of medium that allows the painter to drag the paint in quite a texturally manner across the canvas, and it helps to construct the feeling of the pleating being very voluminous and very 3D, if I might say. It's incredible. And the colors, don't get me started on the colors. How golden and soft this golden stairs looks. How it nearly emanates light from the gold in juxtaposition to the silver robes of the figures. And yet another one that you simply have to love, another Burne-Jones. I'm struggling to get it all on film, how he builds mystery through the juxtaposition of blacks and gold. Now we have John Everett Millais' Ophelia. It's probably a secret to no one here that I am a huge Raphaelite lover. I mean, you simply have to love the cleanness and the vibrance of the greens, even when they are mixed together, like here in the middle, underwater with some mud, with moss, and still the vibrance of the colors that he chose. It's just incredible. And look, once again we have the use of medium here in order to create some texture and to drag the paint over the canvas. Oh, there are bad reflects here, but can you see the wisteria flowers? Some violet flowers here. How incredibly they contrast against the bluish greens and the white ones. Look. It's incredible how clean all of those colors are and how perfectly they look in this scene without any color clashing or taking over, and just creating the absolute perfect frame for Ophelia floating drowned in the water. I mean, don't even get me started on the quality of this portrait. It's divine. And this one is a very special one for me because it's one of the paintings that I remember from when I was very, very little. And I went to see an exhibition of English or British landscapes, an exhibition in Berlin, and we went there with my mother, and this is one of the few paintings that I still remember to this day very, very clearly, and it's just indescribable how beautiful the greens are looking, how natural, but also how vibrant. It's indescribable. I love it. I've read somewhere that the way that Burne-Jones achieved such vibrant colors is that they were not painting over a brown underpainting, but supposedly on a white canvas and over a white layer in order to make the colors really, really pop. I have no idea actually whether this is really true. I have to check up, and if it is, definitely try this technique. Okay, this will be a bit difficult and I have to speak really quietly, but I'm in the Tudor room of the National Portrait Gallery with nearly all of my very favorite portraits of all time. We have here one of the most extraordinary portraits of Elizabeth I by one of the most celebrated English artists of the Tudor period, Hilliard. Hilliard, who is primarily known as a miniaturist, painted here a really large-scale painting, and I think it is very easy to see how he was a miniaturist when we have so much detail in this portrait. On the other hand, the color palette for this painting must not have been much more extensive than a Zorn palette. I think what I like most about Elizabethan and Tudor paintings in general is the clearness of the image. In the end, very few colors are needed to make the sitter stand out. This coronation portrait of Elizabeth I is another example how with only very dark blue, a gold and a white, a portrait can be done masterfully. All of these, I'm not sure how well the camera is going to catch the light and the colors. But honestly, is there anything that beats an oil painting on a wood board? Because I don't think so, honestly. You look how incredibly vibrant the color looks. Of course, the colors that were chosen contrast beautifully with each other already, but I always have the feeling that it feels so much more luminous and so much more powerful when it's glazed over a wooden board. I never get the same feeling on a canvas. It's perfection, isn't it? Okay, this is a peculiar one. It is ginormous, and I believe it is the biggest painting from the Tudor period that I've ever seen. What drew my eye immediately to this was the background. Actually, I can try to zoom in, but I'm not sure it's the perfect lens for this. Do you see this green part? That is so rich in color. You have some ochres in it, some olive greens, some English green, I believe. Look how rich this velvet background, I believe it is, looks. I absolutely love these color associations, and I think this is what I will remember as an inspiration. Maybe this is what I will take into consideration, these associations of colors here. And please remember, I'm not an art historian, so I'm not commenting here on the value or virtue of each and every artwork. I'm purely taking this very egoistically from my perspective and explaining what I will, what details I will remember or try to actively remember in order to incorporate them in one way or the other in the pieces that I myself will create. These are not comments on the general importance or the particulars or something to absolutely know about each painting, alright? I'm so sorry that the transition is probably going to be very garbled, but it's been such a marathon. We only have 3 days in London, and doing all the galleries that I wanted to is, well, a bit optimistic probably. So we're actually now queuing to enter in the National Gallery. I'm not sure we're going to get in before the last admission, but fingers crossed. We'll see. I absolutely love this. I'm not sure how I can reuse what I see or take lessons out of this, but I mean, you cannot not love the Flemish school. It's impossible. It's humanly impossible. A Jacob van Ruysdael landscape painting. Look at this. Look at how beautifully the light falls in the landscape. And it's not a vibrant green, but the difference in value in the tones is absolutely more than sufficient to set the mood. And you have the same thing in the clouds. So some points of, well, let's say extreme highlights and extreme shadows, the same as you have on the ground. And look how perfectly balanced this is. Okay, Jan van der Heijden. I will zoom you into the trees because I think this is very interesting how he made these. It's very, very detailed and patterned at the same time, but my guess would be that instead of using a very disgruntled brush, he was still doing it leaf by leaf with a small, tiny brush. That is something to be kept in mind. This is another brilliant example. I think I'm starting to see what all of the paintings that I'm automatically drawn to have in common, and these are the contrast between the black, the red and the white. Don't know what to make of this conclusion and how to incorporate this in the pieces that I will create, but it is definitely something to keep in mind.
I hope you all liked this new format of a painter's travel blog and appreciated coming with me to the different London galleries in search of inspiration. In the next video I would like to take you with me to a session of plein air painting. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Cheers!